Embrace every miraculous moment God grants, 7 days to uncover your divine purpose. In a quaint English village, surrounded by rolling hills, stood a chapel pulsing with divine love. Its ancient stones whispered secrets of countless prayers. Here, single Mother Emma yearned to rediscover her faith after life's relentless storms had battered her spirit. The weight of despair hung heavy since the day Daniel, her bright-eyed son, was diagnosed with a rare illness. "What now, Lord?" she would cry into the quiet nights, feeling utterly lost. Day 1 of her spiritual journey began under the soft glow of morning light streaming through stained glass. The sunlight painted colors like a heavenly rainbow, igniting hope deep within her heart. With trembling hands, Emma clasped the rosary, pouring out her heart, each bead a cry for relief. "Dear God, I need a miracle. I need to feel you." The air hummed around her, almost alive with possibility. It was on this day, as she left the chapel, that an elderly villager, widowed for years, approached her. "I've been praying for you, dear. I felt compelled to come and share a story," she began, her voice quivering with emotion. "I once found my husband at death's door. I prayed to St. Jude, and then he opened his eyes." Tears welled in Emma's eyes, warming her soul as hope twinkled again. But as day 2 dawned, uncertainty clung like a shadow. Could this really be happening? Emma wondered, her heart torn between faith and doubt. She returned to the sacred chapel, kneeling beneath the towering altar. The air felt thick with divine presence. With the flickering candles casting a gentle glow, she spoke, "Please, let my Daniel heal." Just then, a voice guided her within, urging her to trust. Seek St. Jude's intercession. At that precise moment, she felt a tingle like electricity shoot down her spine. "Really, God?" she whispered, stunned. That evening, Daniel experienced his first real improvement. His laugh, once silenced, rang through their little home like a melody, weaving threads of joy back into her heart. Emma felt that surreal touch of the miraculous wrap around them like a warm blanket, igniting the whispers of faith she thought long extinguished. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. Yet, as Emma lay in bed that night, a storm brewed inside her. Daniel's recovery could have been just chance, right? She felt as if her heart was battling itself, questioning whether her faith could hold amidst the encroaching doubt. "Am I worthy of a miracle?" she grappled, the light from the chapel flickering with her every thought. Each heartbeat resonated with uncertainty as she remembered the villagers rallying around them, their voices lifting in prayer like the sweetest symphony. On day 3, as the village buzzed with excitement over Daniel's improvement, Emma stood at a crossroads of faith and fear. Could she really lean into this miracle without feeling it slip through her fingers? With each prayer, her heart longed for clarity. But what awaited her didn't just involve Daniel's illness. It beckoned her to something greater, something deeper. As the sun set, she could almost taste the divine mysteries waiting to unfold on day 7. Little did she know that the path would soon twist with unexpected turns, intertwining her fate with others in ways she never dreamed possible. As day 4 broke, the sun bathed the village in a golden hue, a gentle reminder of the warmth that faith can bring. With renewed purpose, Emma made her way to the chapel. There was a coolness to the air, and yet her heart burned with hope. Today felt different. It felt charged with possibilities yet unseen. Upon entering, she found herself enveloped in silence. The echo of her footsteps reverberated, each step leading her closer to the altar, where her prayers had transformed into whispers of trust. She kneeled, gripping her rosary. "Lord, I'm here, ready to listen." The stillness embraced her, wrapping around her like a soft shawl on a chilly evening. Just then, the chapel door creaked open, and in walked an unexpected visitor, a health worker from the clinic where Daniel had been treated. "Emma," she called, her voice bright yet soothing, "I've been meaning to speak with you." Intrigued yet cautious, Emma nodded, motioning for her to continue. "I heard about Daniel's improvement. There's something remarkable happening around him. It seems like a miracle." She sat beside Emma, her eyes sparkling with earnestness. "Sometimes families share stories of their children, and I feel they are blessed, touched by something greater. I believe your faith is guiding this." Emma's heart swelled, tears welling in her eyes as she remembered the whispers of the villagers, the constant flow of prayer, and the mysterious tug toward St. Jude. "I'm just a mother, hoping for her child's safety," she murmured, the weight of emotion surfacing. "Oh, but you are so much more," the health worker replied, leaning closer. "You are a beacon of faith, a story of endurance. Your journey might inspire others to unearth their own miracles." Emma sat up straighter, realizing that perhaps her struggle was not hers alone. It was intertwined with the faith of her community, drawing their hopes together like interlinking chains, strong and resilient. Determined, she rose to her feet. "Then we must continue to pray, not just for Daniel, but for everyone who feels lost." The health worker beamed. "I'd be happy to join you. Let's gather the villagers and watch what unfolds." As the two women stepped out of the chapel, Emma felt a deep conviction settle in her heart. With each prayer that echoed in their little village, they would weave a tapestry of faith that no shadow could stall. The chapel's ancient walls, once a place for just personal recollections, now became a hub of shared love and expectation, a living testament to faith bringing transformative power. Day 4 blossomed into evening, and soon eager faces gathered around the chapel grounds. Emma glanced at the small crowd. Neighbors, friends, and even distant acquaintances who had come bearing their burdens. Discussing hopes and sorrows seemed to lift the weight off their shoulders. Among them she could feel a warmth gathering, like a fire igniting within the very stones of the chapel. As they began to pray together, a soft breeze whispered through the trees, caressing their faces like a divine touch. "Lord," they all breathed as one, their voices intertwining, "we trust in your miraculous ways. Breathe hope into our hearts." In that sacred moment, Emma knew this was more than just a gathering. It was a divine assembly, a united front against the uncertainties of life. She closed her eyes, allowing the collective faith to wash over her, a wave of love and possibility blending with the prayers rising like smoke to heaven. Where will it lead us, she wondered, her heart quickening with excitement and anticipation. Little did Emma know that this unity would soon reveal connections she couldn't begin to imagine, taking her journey far beyond her own struggles. Day 5 promised to unravel more than she had ever hoped for, leading her to a divine revelation that would change everything. As dawn broke on the 5th day, a radiant sun cast its golden fingers across the rooftops, drawing each villager out of their homes like moths to a flame. Emma awoke feeling a sense of urgency thrumming in her chest. Today, she sensed, was a day of powerful revelations. She rushed through her morning routine, barely tasting her breakfast, as visions of hope and healing danced in her mind. What miracles awaited them in the chapel? What whispers would God send as they gathered again? Each question felt like a beckoning call, urging her to step forward in faith. When she arrived at the chapel, the crowd had already begun to assemble, their faces alight with expectancy. Conversations ebbed and flowed, laughter mingled with quiet prayers.
each moment building upon the last, creating a tapestry of faith that covered the open space. Emma stood at the entrance, taking it all in. The children holding hands with their parents, the elderly nodding knowingly, the faith worker from the clinic waving enthusiastically at her. It was a gathering of dreams, woven tightly with prayers of hope. "Let's begin," she said, her voice like a warm embrace. As the group fell silent, Emma took a deep breath, feeling the presence of something larger than herself enveloping.
The gathering. Today, let's pray for transformation, not just for Daniel, but for all the lives touched by struggle. A murmur of agreement rippled through the crowd. They began to pray in unison, their voices rising like a chorus, a harmonious symphony of faith that vibrated through the chapel walls. As they prayed, Emma noticed small flickers of light appearing around them, shimmering like fireflies in the dusk. Was it her imagination, or was something extraordinary happening? "Can you feel it?" a voice behind her whispered, filled with awe. Emma turned to find a young boy, his eyes wide with wonder. "It's like the room is breathing." "Yes," Emma exclaimed, excitement bubbling within her. "It's the Holy Spirit moving among us. Keep praying." As their voices lifted higher, Emma could feel waves of healing energy flooding her heart, pushing aside her worries and doubts. In that moment, she surrendered herself completely to the divine presence. She pictured Daniel, and with every word, she sent love and healing thoughts toward him like arrows of light. Suddenly, an elder of the village stepped forward, tears glistening on his cheeks. "Emma," he began, his voice quivering, "I feel inspired to share something. Many years ago, I went through a great trial. I lost my way. My faith dimmed, but this village helped me restore it. Today, I see the same light in you all. Miracles happen when we support one another." The crowd responded with nods and murmurs of affirmation, and Emma felt a wave of bravery welling up within her. Could it be true? Would their collective faith yield results far beyond her own expectations? The corners of her heart opened, daring to believe. "Let's not stop here," Emma encouraged. "Let's commit to sharing our joys and our burdens with one another, to navigating this life together. We are not alone in our struggles." As she spoke, the sunlight streamed through stained glass, showering the chapel in a kaleidoscope of colors, a physical manifestation of God's presence. Murmurs filled the air, every person a thread in the grand tapestry of divine love. They prayed with more fervor, each voice a beacon of hope. Yet deep within Emma, a flutter of uncertainty lingered. What about the trials still ahead? Could their unity really change the fate of those they prayed for? Emma's heart raced, knowing that the true essence of faith lay in unraveling the mysteries yet to come. The moment felt electric, inviting, as the possibilities of the day unfolded before her. What awaited them as they continued their journey of faith? Would they uncover an even deeper connection to God's will? Emma closed her eyes once more, anticipating the divine message that lay just beyond the horizon. As the last words of prayer evaporated into the air, a stillness enveloped the chapel. It was as if time held its breath, waiting for a spark of inspiration to ignite the hearts gathered within. Emma opened her eyes, gazing across the faces now aglow with a serene light, a beauty born from unity, trust, and unyielding faith. "Now, let us listen," she urged softly, her voice almost a whisper. The words flowed gently yet powerfully. "Let us quiet our minds and open our hearts to what God wants to reveal to us today." Silence blanketed the congregation as they bowed their heads, surrendering their thoughts to God's inviting presence. It was a sacred communion, a moment where barriers fell away, and souls connected through a common desire to receive divine wisdom. Emma closed her eyes once more, picturing the flickers of light that had danced around them earlier. She envisioned them converging into a brilliant beam, illuminating the entire chapel. Was it a sign? Was God sending clarity through the luminosity? Then a soft voice broke through the reverent hush. It was the elderly woman with the gentle smile, her hands shaking slightly as she clutched her cane. "I feel led to share something important," she said, her eyes glistening with the wisdom of years. "We each carry burdens. Some are heavy, and some we keep close to our hearts. But God has called us to lift one another up, to share these weights." Little murmurs of agreement floated through the crowd. "I have seen how your prayers have brought me comfort," she continued, looking directly at Emma. "But I wonder, how often do we refuse to let others carry our burdens? How often do we hide our struggles when help is just a heartbeat away?" Her words resonated deeply with Emma. She felt the weight of truth settle within. "We have so much to offer one another," Emma replied, her heart swelling with the reality of their shared experience. "What if today is not just about healing Daniel, but also about recognizing the divine promptings we've hidden from each other?" The community shared tentative smiles, nods of understanding rippling among them. The air shifted slightly as more voices joined in. "We've known loss," one man shared, his voice breaking. "And yet here we are together. There's strength in numbers." "Yes," echoed another. "There can be freedom in confession and strength in honesty." With every heartfelt word, a wave of transformation washed over the gathering. Emma felt the tightening in her chest loosen as others began to stand and share their own burdens, their worries spilling out in vulnerable honesty. One by one, they opened up about job losses, illness, fears for their children. Each shared story was a stone lifted from the shoulders of all gathered. With every revelation, a lightness replaced the heaviness, stitching together a stronger bond of love and mutual support. In that moment, Emma realized that true healing was not solely about the miraculous restoration of one life, but the redemption and affirmation of many. Just as Christ had called forth the weary to unite, so too was their gathering inviting heaven's grace to echo throughout their lives. As the sun continued its climb, illuminating the chapel further, a sense of urgency sparked within her. "What if we could do this for a whole week? What if we devoted the next days to truly sharing our lives, our hopes and struggles?" she suggested enthusiastically. Gasps of surprise fluttered across the space. Conversations simmered into excited chatter, hearts elevating in possibility. But in the midst of it all, Emma felt a tingle of uncertainty creep back. There were fears still lurking in the shadows of their collective truth. How would they manage the weight of their revelations? Would they truly cling to one another as they faced the storms ahead? As these thoughts swirled within her, she knew somehow that the next days would not come without trials. With renewed zeal, she raised her arms as if embracing the very essence of their unity. "Together, we shall seek God's purpose in every moment. Let's invite even more miracles into our midst." As the crowd erupted into cheers and laughter, Emma couldn't shake the deep question resting in her heart. What unseen challenges would they face as they committed to journeying together in faith? Would they discover divine strength in their unity, or would the burden become too much to bear? The air vibrated with potential, each heartbeat a step toward the unknown. Emma closed her eyes again, silently praying for guidance as they began this new chapter of their collective journey. With the chapel still echoing with cheers and joyful banter, Emma slowly opened her eyes again. Light streamed in, casting illuminating patterns on the wooden pews, each ray seeming to dance joyfully in response to the collective excitement. Her heart swelled with hope, yet doubts trilled in the background like a distant storm. Could they truly bear one another's burdens? Could they dive deeper into vulnerability without losing their footing? "Let's start today," she felt compelled to say, her voice steady yet passionate. "Let's not wait for tomorrow to show our hearts. Who will go first?"
A moment of silence followed, eyes darting, a mix of fear and anticipation creating a weighty pause. Then a timid hand rose, Evelyn, a young mother from their midst. The room hushed as all eyes turned to her. "I've been struggling with anxiety," she admitted, her voice barely a whisper. "I hide it from everyone. I want my kids to see me strong, but inside I feel so lost." Tears shimmered in Evelyn's eyes, each one a testament to the burden she had carried alone for too long. As she allowed her truth to flow, others quickly closed the distance between them and her, forming an encircling support. Emma could feel the warmth of encouragement radiate through the room, like a gentle embrace from above. "I don't want to be alone in this," Evelyn continued, the words coming forth more freely with every heartbeat. "I'm afraid of what I might scare my children into feeling." Suddenly, another voice rose, the steady timbre of Daniel, who had been wrestling silently with his diagnosis. "You're not alone, Evelyn. I hid
my own fears, thinking they were mine to bear. But every moment I've spent in isolation has only deepened my shame. Together we can learn to lift each other up." A chorus of affirmations buzzed around the room, each person echoing expressions of solidarity. Hearts began to intertwine, woven together by shared struggles, creating a fabric of collective strength. Emma marveled at how vulnerability opened the door to genuine connection. The atmosphere thickened with a holy presence, as if God Himself was weaving their hearts into a tapestry of redemption. "Let this week be a refuge, a space where we can shed our facades and be raw," Emma declared, her spirit igniting with fervor. "Let every pain shared be a thread to bind us closer to one another." As they delved deeper into their stories, voices began to weave together tales of triumph over despair. One by one, they learned that fear had no place in their circle. They found that the more they shared, the more they also resonated with hope. "I lost my job, but I have faith," an older gentleman spoke up. "It's hard, yes, but I'm determined to see it as a chance for new beginnings." "Here's to that," came another voice, sparking laughter in reply. Freer now, they encouraged one another with every shared experience, every revelation. Just then, a gentle whisper seemed to drift through the air, enveloping them. "Have faith in what comes next, for I am with you," echoed a voice within Emma's heart. It was a reminder, God's assurance that they were embarking on a path carved by His hands. But even in this beautiful moment, Emma noticed a glimmer of apprehension creeping back in. Questions lingered in her mind, clouding the joyous atmosphere. Would darkness attempt to shadow their newfound light? How would they respond when faced with challenges that seemed insurmountable? With renewed purpose, she gathered her courage to voice her thoughts. "Friends, what do we do when the weight becomes too great? When our fears threaten to drown the joy we found here?" As her words faded into the silence that followed, Emma felt the room shift. A heavy atmosphere mingled with hope, like a storm cloud tinged with golden light. What revelations were yet to unfold? What challenges might lie ahead? Emma closed her eyes again, praying for divine guidance, determined that their journey had only just begun. The bold promise of faith and communal strength rested heavily on her heart, but the mystery of what was to come lingered, breathing life into the air around them. Would their faith stand against the storms yet to come, or would they crumble under the weight of truths yet unshared? As Emma's voice faded, an uncertainty filled the room. Faces shifted from joy to contemplation, and the air felt thicker. The challenge she posed hung like a fragile thread, almost beckoning them to take a leap into the unknown. Moments passed before another soul dared to share. It was Lucas, the quiet teenager who had often kept to himself. "I've been carrying a weight too," he said, his voice trembling. "I feel like I don't belong anywhere, not here, at school, or even at home." He paused, swallowing hard, revealing wounds wrapped in solitude. "I put on a happy face, but inside, I'm so confused." His honesty broke through the tension, inflating the room with compassion. As he spoke, Emma observed the reactions of those around her. Gentle nods and soft murmurs of understanding ebbed and flowed like a wave of support. "Lucas," Evelyn reached out, "you belong right here. We need you, just like you need us." Her words, heavy with love, seemed to fill the spaces in his heart, bridging the gap between isolation and community. The warmth of connection burgeoned as others jumped in, sharing their own stories of feeling lost, disenfranchised, and yearning for acceptance. It was as if they were casting off the heavy chains of secrecy that had kept them shackled. The room pulsed with empathy as tears flowed freely, flowing together in a river of shared pain and uplifting hope. Emma could see God's presence weaving through the shared narratives, strengthening bonds that had seemed unbreakable only moments ago. She felt an urge to remind everyone of the beauty in their honest exchange. Each of you has a voice that matters. Your struggles are a part of your story, a part of God's purpose for you. "Let's take a moment to lift each other up with prayers," Daniel suggested, his eyes shining with sincerity. He reached out and formed a circle, pulling everyone close. With hands clasped together, they rounded out their space, a holy huddle under the guiding light of mutual support. They began to pray aloud, each verse a declaration of their newfound courage and commitment to bear each other's burdens. Words flowed like soft chants, harmonizing in unity. Emma felt something swell within her, a pulse of grace that affirmed every shared thought, every hesitant word, resonating with divine purpose. Suddenly, the chapel door creaked open, and Sarah, a long-absent member of their congregation, stepped inside. Emma felt time suspend as the room turned to her. Sarah's eyes widened, holding a mix of hope and uncertainty. "I heard you all. It felt like you were speaking to me," she said, her voice barely a whisper as she ventured forward, vulnerability laid bare. "I've been gone for so long, but I want to return." "Welcome back!" Emma exclaimed, the warmth in her heart reaching out like a beacon. The tension dissipated. Sarah's return brought a tipping point, a reminder of redemption, love, and the circle that awaited each straying heart. As laughter and cheers rose again, Emma realized they were no longer just a group of individuals. They had become a community, a family, anchored together by grace. Yet a new undercurrent flowed through Emma's thoughts. While healing was blossoming here, what lay outside those walls? What unseen battles waited for them beyond this?
Sacred space? Friends, Emma raised her voice to bring focus to the room once again. Let us not ignore the world outside. It holds challenges too, challenges that will test our unity and the strength we've found together. What do we do when we leave this space of love? How do we carry this light into a world often shrouded in darkness? Her words cast a contemplative veil over them. Emma leaned into the silence that followed, sensing the tension crackle amidst the flickering candlelight. What would their next steps reveal? Would their bonds hold strong when faced with external trials? With anticipation in her heart, she waited for their answers, knowing deep inside that the journey ahead held infinite possibilities. The silence stretched out like a gentle pause in a symphony, an invitation for thought. As Emma watched her friends, she sensed the weight of their unspoken questions. How do we remain united when the world tries to tear us apart? One by one, eyes lowered in contemplation, each person wrestling with their fears. Then, finally, it was Samuel, a gentle spirit known for his kind heart, who bravely broke the stillness. "What if," he began, his voice steady yet soft, "we take this love we've built and share it beyond these walls? What if we become the light in someone else's dark moment?" His words hung in the air like incense, fragrant with sincerity. The room began to nod in agreement, each person lighting up with the thoughts of possibility. Emma felt the excitement swell like a tidal wave, reshaping the energy in the chapel. "Yes," Evelyn took his cue, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "We could start small, maybe bring meals to those who are struggling in our community, or offer our help to local charities." The floodgates of ideas opened wide. Suggestions tumbled over one another, organizing a community cleanup, tutoring children after school, or simply sitting down with someone who needs to be heard. Each idea pulled them closer to the reality of becoming active participants in God's work, allowing love to flow outwards. They began to deepen their conversation about challenges waiting outside, the fear of rejection, the uncertainty of how to approach strangers, or the doubt that perhaps their efforts wouldn't make a difference at all. Yet, in those moments of vulnerability, Emma felt God's steadying hand. It was in those shared worries that a collective strength began to bloom. Remember the parable of the mustard seed? Emma's voice softened like a painter applying a gentle brush. She saw their faces light up with recognition, infused with hope. What seems small and insignificant can grow into something magnificent. Our actions, no matter how small, can have an impact beyond what we can imagine. "Wow, that's powerful," Lucas said, a newfound spark igniting in his eyes. "It reminds me that I may be small, but I have a purpose. We all do." His enthusiasm encouraged others, and soon laughter broke out. It wasn't just a suggestion, it was
a movement beginning to take shape in their hearts. The energy shifted, and before long, they were brainstorming passionately, sketching out plans on scrap paper. Emma could hardly contain her joy. She witnessed the group transform from a collection of broken pieces into a unified body, each person radiating hope and determination. With every plan formed, with every bit of laughter exchanged, she saw how together they were becoming something greater, a tapestry woven with threads of purpose and compassion. As the meeting started drawing to a close, Emma took a moment to absorb all the love and inspiration swirling around her. "Friends, let's offer ourselves to the world outside. Let's plant these mustard seeds of kindness." But amid the excitement, she felt a quiet tug at her own heart. A nagging thought nestled in her mind. What obstacles might they face that could challenge their convictions? What social injustices or personal struggles could threaten to sow discord among their newfound unity? "Before we go," Emma added, her voice resonating with seriousness, "let's pray for courage, for strength to face whatever may come, and wisdom to see how we can best serve those around us." As they joined hands once more, closing their eyes in prayer, a profound serenity enveloped them. Emma sensed the powerful potential of their intentions, yet lingering doubt danced in the shadows of her mind. She inhaled deeply, wondering what might unfold in their journey ahead. Was it possible that true courage would be revealed in unexpected ways? Would they find themselves standing firm when the winds of challenge blew fierce? As she pondered these divine mysteries, she prepared her heart for whatever miraculous moments God was about to reveal. The morning sun broke through the stained glass windows, showering the chapel in a cascade of colorful light. Each hue felt like a divine brushstroke, illuminating the joy that bloomed within their hearts. Emma sat quietly in a corner, savoring the energy that lingered from the night before. Her friends, emboldened and united, were already plotting their first steps to reach out beyond their familiar sanctuary. Outside, the air buzzed with anticipation. "All right, team," Samuel clapped his hands together, drawing everyone's attention. "It's time to put our plans into action. We can't just talk about kindness, we have to live it." Evelyn led the charge, her excitement infectious as she rallied everyone around her. "Let's divide into small groups. We can tackle different areas of need. Who's with me?" Nods of agreement rippled through the group. Emma watched, heart warmed, as each person eagerly embraced their own responsibilities. With their first assignment centered on delivering meals, they set out that very afternoon. The outside world buzzed with life, the sounds of laughter, distant music, and rushing cars acting as a backdrop to their mission.
Little by little, excitement stirred in Emma's heart, but shadows of worry lurked close by. "Just remember," Samuel reminded as they walked side by side, "we might not always succeed at first. Remember,
It's about showing up." His reassurance was enough for Emma to focus her thoughts. As they approached the first household, a quiet home nestled between its noisy neighbors, they gathered on the doorstep. The sturdy wooden door hesitated before creaking open. An elderly woman stood before them, her face lined with years of wisdom and solitude. "Hello, dear. What brings you here?" she asked, her voice rich with curiosity. "Hi, we're part of a group from the chapel. We wanted to share some food and company with you," Evelyn explained, her warmth radiating like sunlight. The woman smiled, her eyes sparkling like gemstones. "Oh my, that would brighten my day. Please come in." As they stepped inside, the aroma of home-cooked meals filled the air. The gathering was simple, yet profoundly sacred. They shared laughter, stories, and a deeper connection than any of them anticipated. The elderly woman spoke of her younger days, weaving tales of love and community struggles. With every word, Emma felt the woman's experiences knit them closer. Yet, amidst the warmth, a sense of unease began to creep in. Emma noticed how deeply the woman longed for connection, reminding her of the nagging thoughts she had before. How many others out there may feel just as isolated, just as forgotten? What if their small efforts weren't enough to bridge those gaps? As they wrapped up their visit, the woman clasped Emma's hand, tears glistening in her eyes. "Thank you, dear. You've reminded me that I am not alone. You carry a light within you. Never let it dim." Emma blinked back tears of her own, sealing the moment in her heart. Time blurred as they stepped back outside, her spirit soaring yet heavy with the responsibility of love. This was what they were meant to do. The group reconvened outside, excitement swirling anew as they recalled the joy they'd spread. But in that shared triumph, confusion flickered in Emma's mind. What about the deeper societal challenges looming beyond individual smiles? Just then, someone from the back of the group shouted, "Let's keep going. We need to reach more people." Cheers erupted, but Emma remained contemplative as they started planning their next stop. With a heart full of questions, she wondered, would their newfound unity hold strong in the face of anger, despair, and injustice? What would it take for them to inspire real change in someone's life? As the sun began to dip low on the horizon, casting golden rays over their path, Emma breathed deeply, feeling yet again the tug of divine mystery pulling at her spirit. "What awaits us on this journey?" she pondered silently. "What unexpected lessons will we learn as we seek to share our light?" The next stop for Emma and her friends was a community center, not far from the chapel, a place where laughter often mingled with the cries of children playing and families gathering. The vibrant energy of the center resonated with their mission. As they approached, Emma felt a flicker of hope within her, yet the heaviness of her earlier thoughts lingered at the edge. "All right, everyone, our task here is to share not just our food, but our hearts," Evelyn said, a twinkle of determination in her eyes. There was an immediacy in her voice, a call to rally the troops. The group nodded in agreement, their spirits ignited by their leader's passion. Inside the community center, an array of faces greeted them, each one distinct, yet interwoven with stories of challenges and victories. From young mothers juggling toddlers to the elderly taking quiet refuge on benches, the place buzzed with life's richness. Emma felt a swell of emotion. This was where their kindness could truly make a mark. As they began serving hot meals, Emma found herself wandering, drawn to a small gathering in the corner. A couple of teenagers were playing a game of cards, laughter spilling like a fountain between them. She could hear hints of their conversation, bits and pieces of hopes and dreams. "Do you think we'll ever make it big? Like really big?" one of them asked, eyes wide with aspiration. "Why not? We've got what it takes," came the enthusiastic reply, confidence unwavering.
Emma couldn't help but smile at their fervor, but as she listened, her heart softened with concern. Did they realize how easy it is to get lost in the dreams of the world without anchoring them in love? Would their ambitions lead them down paths of isolation or despair? Just then, Samuel appeared at her side, breaking her thoughts. "Hey, what are you pondering? You look 1,000 miles away." "Just thinking about what it means to really reach out, you know," Emma replied, her voice a gentle whisper. "How do we help those who have so many dreams but might feel so alone in chasing them?" Samuel nodded, a thoughtful expression crossing his face. "It's like plants in a garden. If they don't get enough sunlight or water, they might wither. But together, they can flourish. It's our job to be part of that garden." Emma's heart stirred, feeling the weight of his words. It was as if the divine whisper echoed gently in her spirit. They needed to be not just a source of nourishment, but also a support system, a network of love that nurtures dreams. With fresh resolve, she turned back to the teenagers. "Want to join us for an art project?" she invited, her heart racing with hope. "We're creating something special for the community, and we could use your energy." The teens looked at each other in surprise, but quickly agreed, their youthful excitement palpable. As they gathered around a table, colors began to spring to life. Paint splattered, brushes danced, and laughter erupted. Even in that small act, Emma sensed the magic of connection flowing, filling voids that went beyond simple companionship. Later, as they stepped outside, the sunset greeted them with golden hues, igniting the sky with the promise of a new
dawn. Emma felt a flicker of joy amid the chase for deeper meaning. Every small interaction held the potential for miracles, those moments where love sparked light in the shadowy corners of their lives. As they finished their day, Emma couldn't shake the questions that lingered in her mind. What if they could create more than just joyful moments? What if they could uncover burdens too heavy for people to bear alone? "Tomorrow is a new day," she mused, gripping Samuel's arm, her thoughts racing and heart pounding with anticipation. "Let's dive deeper. Let's find the root of the hurt." Samuel smiled knowingly, sensing the shift in her spirit. "And what if it leads us to something we've yet to understand?" A gentle breeze skated through the evening, carrying Emma's thoughts as they drifted toward uncharted territory, where love could mend the world's brokenness in ways they had yet to comprehend. As they made their way back to the chapel, Emma was consumed by the thrill of the unknown. Her heart swelled with excitement. "What does God have in store for us next?" she whispered, staring into the deepening colors of the twilight sky. With dawn cracking like a promise across the heavens, Emma awoke to a world layered with possibility. The sun streamed through her window, illuminating her thoughts with an urgency that tugged at her heartstrings. Today was not merely another day. It was a call to deeper understanding, a chance to draw closer to God's transformative purpose. She made her way to the chapel, where her friends had already begun gathering. Each of them carried a glow of excitement mixed with a hint of trepidation, as if sensing the heaviness that still lingered in the air. Today, they would venture beyond what felt comfortable. Today, they would embody the love they spoke of, digging for the roots of pain within their community. As they stood in a circle, Emma spoke softly yet firmly. "Friends, yesterday revealed how our collective compassion could spark joy. But deeper healing lies in addressing the burdens hidden beneath the surface. Today, let us be bold. Let's share our own fears as we seek to uncover those who feel lost among us. Will you join me?" Everyone nodded. Determination radiated from their faces. Together, they set out to visit a local shelter, a place where vulnerable hearts often went unnoticed. The morning air was filled with anticipation, thick with the aroma of awakening life. As they entered the shelter, walls filled with art and laughter met them. Remnants of community spirit mingled with the echoes of everyday struggles. An ideal backdrop for their mission of unveiling compassion, Emma felt her spirit rise. Their first encounter was with a group of young adults, shy but curious.
As they sat down, Emma noticed the shadows lurking in their smiles. "What dreams do you hold?" she began, her voice inviting safety. A brief silence followed before a young woman spoke, her voice trembling. "I want to be an artist, but I struggle. I don't believe I can make it." Words poured forth like gentle rain. Each person began to share snippets of their lives, the aspirations buried under self-doubt, the hesitation that accompanied their dreams. As the atmosphere filled with honest revelations, the realization dawned on Emma. Every story was intertwined with pain, yet bore the golden threads of hope. "Together, we are all part of God's art," she proclaimed, her heartbeat steadying as she felt the powerful energy around them. "You are not alone. Your dreams matter. Let us support each other in revealing them." In that moment, something shifted. Emboldened by Emma's words, they began discussing ways to support one another: art workshops, community displays, even sharing meals together to foster deeper connections. Laughter blended with tears, and a palpable warmth enveloped the space, binding hearts in a shared vision of love and solidarity. Afterward, Emma led the group outside, seeking a moment of quiet reflection. "What's brewing in your heart?" she asked, encouraging openness. Daniel, who had quietly observed the interactions, finally spoke, his voice steady as stones. "It's not just about us being here. It's about being brave enough to show up for each other outside these walls too." "Exactly," Evelyn chimed in, her eyes sparkling with fervent passion. "We must remember that miracles don't just happen here. They require action and faith." The collective wisdom hung in the air, shimmering with importance. Emma closed her eyes, envisioning the ripple effect they could create, a web of faith and shared love that could reach the farthest corners of their village. "Imagine what it would look like to walk through this world together," she said, a tremor of excitement in her voice. "To lift one another through storms, to be the embodiment of God's love everywhere we go." When the day began to fade into twilight, Emma felt an indescribable peace settle in her chest. A true sense of connection and purpose wove through their community. "Let's claim our role as conduits of hope," she urged, feeling God's approval wash over her. As they gathered for a final prayer that day, Emma listened to the voices around her, lifting up prayers full of anticipation for all that was unfolding. Hearts resonated together, each word rising like incense toward the heavens. In the soft embrace of their prayers, she felt a resolve settle within her soul, not merely to act, but to embody the very essence of unwavering faith and love. Then came the moment of clarity, striking like a lightning bolt of truth. "Let's make a commitment," Emma suggested, heart racing. "Through this week, let's pour ourselves into sharing our gifts, and let's document the miracles we encounter." "Oh, like a journal of miracles!" Lucas exclaimed, excitement pouring from his youthful spirit. "We can show how our love has affected others." In that exchange, Emma felt embers of change ignite, and she knew that they would all stand firm in dedication, a united front against the chaos demanding to tear apart their newfound
bonds. With the final prayer said, Emma opened her eyes, the glow of divine intent illuminating everything around her. She smiled, heart full of gratitude, knowing now that their journey held promises yet fulfilled. They had chosen light, chosen each other, and no obstacle could dim the brilliance of God's love. As they left, Emma paused at the threshold of the chapel, her gaze sweeping over her friends, who were filled with resolve. "We are not just a group anymore," she said quietly, a tear slipping for joy. "We are a family, and together we are powerful." This was it, the culmination of their week, without fear of uncertainty or struggle. Each step forward sang with divine purpose. Emma sensed that the divine mission had only just begun, and in that sacred space she believed deeply that the best was yet to come. And she felt it, in her heart, in her soul, as they ventured forth, divinely destined to make a miracle that would resonate. These moments wouldn't fade. They would blossom and unfold into something unimaginable. This was the beginning of a beautiful legacy of love, one that shone like the stars above, a reminder to the world that in unity, miracles sprouted forth from the depths of heartfelt connection. Now, dear friends, this is your moment to join our journey. You need to subscribe now to our channel to not miss the next exclusive faith stories that will transform your lives. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and let them know the power of God's love is undeniably real. Comment your reactions and testimonies about this ending. Your words matter, and they breathe life into our community. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation. Only true servants of God understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions. Your engagement is a testament to faith. Stand with us.